Hey guys, what's going on? Scows here. Welcome to the Off the Top Clash at the Castle review. I am joined by a panel today. We have Nate, Megan, and Shadow from our predictions video, and then we are also joined by Laugh and Phil. They're from the Outside the Brand podcast. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, just want to make sure I got it correct. Um, we are working on this together. It is something that we are introducing. We normally, me and Shadow do these, but it is great that we have partners with this one, and I feel like this could actually be a great show. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Didn't wait, man.
I know Megan's
What
doing
a
good.
show.
Be better with the ending. You know, is what it
Yo.
is.
Megan's over there acting as if she's the undisputed women's champion.
Oh, because I
Because you got two belts. We got Becky two belts over there.
All we need is the orange hair back.
soon. I am.
I don't even know what else to say other than today has just been an emotional roller coaster.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
To say the least.
it was a great pay per view, top to bottom. I mean, there were some ups and downs, but overall, I felt it was probably top three pay per view for the year for them.
100%.
I think it was the best.
Oh, really? Over
I do.
WrestleMania?
I do. 100%.
All right. I respect that. That's
I'll have to get your opinion on that later, after, as we're winding down, because I feel that's something that we should know why.
Okay.
before I get started with the trios women match. I'll just put it that way because it's easier to say. I want to say thank you to Phil and Laugh, both big wrestle talkers on TikTok, as well as Megan and Nate and myself. We're all on TikTok constantly. We're having these conversations. And yeah, so what is your guys' thoughts on the trio women's match tonight? Anybody?
This is just free reign. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go first in saying that I thought it was a great way to open up the show. Just to, get everybody's gears going, getting those six women that we all know have had a little bit of a, gripe with one another. Depending of Bianca Belair, that kind of shook my head a little bit, but once I figured out, like, this could actually be meaning that Bailey and Belair could actually be doing something afterwards, it definitely clicked in my head as to why that happened. Thought it was a great opener for the show, though. I really did.
As
you want to give it a
regard-
ranking?
Oh, a rating? I'd give it a good 3.5 out of 5 stars if I had to do it out of 5, if anything like that. Just a really good opener for the show, and it really got the crowd going.
All right. What were you gonna say, Matt?
In regards to Bianca being pinned, she was well protected. It took three.
Yes.
It took three finishers to do it,
Mhm.
and that crowd, with the "Hey Bailey" chants to start the show, was
It
just
was
insane. Especially the fact of how Bailey was so against it. It was the way this show, what this crowd can do, and they were on fire all night. It was great. And the new theme, James, right? They came out with a new theme. They had their name displayed finally. It was the first time they've done that. I just thought a good it was a good match. I'm going to give it about a 3.75.
All right. We'll throw it up to Laugh here.
Damage Control, as they are now officially called, they're my favorite part of Raw. They've probably the most intriguing thing to me this whole ever since SummerSlam. They've been the most intriguing thing about Raw and SmackDown as a whole. Even NXT, I'll throw NXT in there. Nothing really has intrigued me as much as those three. This match was great. I was like Phil. I was very thrown off by Bianca getting pinned. I did like that they all hit all three of their finishes to get it done. I was just not expecting her to get pinned. I thought Alexa was gonna take it. Um, I feel like she was the one that doesn't really need the protection. I feel like Asuka and Bianca still need that kind of protection in a way. But we're leading to a Bailey and Bianca match in the future, as it may. But yeah, I give it a 4 stars out of 5. I enjoyed this, and the crowd, like y'all said, the crowd was hot the whole time, and I think that also to be taken into account, even as far as a match rating goes, because if the crowd's not there, that's not to
Right.
say you won't be there either. So
100%.
cool though. I enjoyed
Alright.
it.
I respect that. Megan.
It was a really great opener. I wasn't expecting them to open, to be honest, but I'm really glad that they did because then they left the really high quality matches like to lead up to it. It was a great lead up. I'm happy Control run because I could see them like being that dominant force again, like almost like the Four Horsewomen or almost the female version of the Shield. Like, that's what I think that they could end up becoming if they continue to build up the way that they were building up.
I like that analogy. So what?
And I give a 4.
All right, Nate. You want to go? You want me to go first, and you last?
I'll go real quick. Yeah.
All right.
So I thought it was a really good opener. They definitely gave. What's up? Okay. So they definitely gave all the women in that match a chance to shine pretty well.
What's going on, Scales? You want to mute there, buddy? Scales, you want to mute your mic there, bud?
Oh gosh.
All right. I
Okay.
muted him. Go ahead. Continue your point.
So the women's match, that 6 women tag match, I thought they definitely gave all the women a chance to shine very well. Dakota Kai looked especially good too. Her and Io Sky seem to have a lot of chemistry together as a tag team. Bailey kind of leading these 2 new NXT imports. It's very Evolution like almost, to a point where Bailey is this established champion. She was the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion of all time. She's got the credibility, and she sees something in Dakota Sky and Io Sky. This match was always going to be them winning. I didn't see a universe where Bianca and a makeshift team of Bliss and Asuka wins. Bailey taking the victory by pinning the women's champion, I loved. I thought that was a great decision. Me and Phil both called it. We both saw that coming. I love that decision. It sets Bailey up as a championship contender and potentially the person to dethrone Bianca Belair, and I like that.
Sorry about that, guys.
And I would say, I'd say like a 3.5 out of 5.
All right. That's a fair rating. I think everybody's given it a fair rating so far throughout the conversation. For me, I was anticipating one of the home. I knew it wasn't going to be Drew opening the show, but I was expecting Gunther and Sheamus to open up the show. So having the women's trios match open up the show was great. As you go over it, there's a lot of good spots. It's not a spot fest. It's some good technical match. There was a few in it, but nothing that they couldn't recover from as a whole group. I think they well timed everything together, and they did well. Another thing that I want to say is going off here as a Phil's point is Bianca needed to be pinned in this situation as the champion. It protects Alexa and it protects Asuka, but it sets up for a storyline between Bailey and Bianca now.
Yes, it does.
So I am going to. I don't have much to say about it. I enjoyed the match. It was great technically around. I'm going to give it a 4.
Fair ratings all around.
Fair.
Sorry about that, guys.
Well, you're good. I had to mute you, buddy.
I muted myself on the stream. I forgot Discord.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that means there was just a silence.
So the next match that we're going to discuss is going to be the Intercontinental Championship match between Sheamus and Gunther. And there's really not much to say except this was the match of the night. Like, unbelievable. Sheamus's chest at the end of this match, it's just the way his body is. Like, it's like Daniel Bryan. Like, they both have the same type of body where they react when getting those chest slaps. It looks like It looks like their
almost like
body is
they're in it.
gone.
It's hamburger.
Yeah,
You're looking at hamburger meat.
it looks like chopped meat, pretty much. Yep.
I said it on I said it on TikTok live earlier that I wanted my back to look like that when Alexa was done with me.
Hey, yo.
Get out of here.
Look at this man right here.
To start with having Giovanni Vici come out when they showed up and brought back Imperium, I did not even think of that as being an option because of how his gimmick has been down there. I thought they were going to keep him away from him, and it was perfect. Now the only thing that's missing is Imperium's theme, but
Right.
I digress. I actually like the new Gunther theme, so it actually does work. But this match is a 5 stars for me. Like, I can't give it any less than that. It just was so good.
Well, you're completely on the opposite side of Meltzer there, so you're good.
Yeah.
No, Meltzer, this might be the one that he actually gives them a 5 star.
You better.
Except he might not,
I-
like you were saying, because there's no flippy flippies. It was all brute.
I
It was
doubt
all
it.
brute strength.
I doubt it. Dude, Dave doesn't give enough
Oh.
credit.
Well, lately he's
Matt-
been praising WWE, and people are calling him out for him, saying now he's biased towards WWE.
Ugh.
It's funny.
I
Like,
still
it's
don't
funny.
get-
It's funny
I
seeing the AW marks like all of a sudden turn on him because he was praising WWE's product for 2 weeks. Like,
I still don't give a shit about Meltzer's opinion.
I don't either.
So we'll go Nate, or I'll go and then Nate, and then we'll go reverse this time.
Let's go.
For me, it was just and I steal it again from Steve from Straight Shoot. It was an absolute slap meat everything. It was everything you wanted and more. Like these two went and they went and they went. Like they didn't need the flips. They didn't need the big high off the top. Nothing. These men turned their spots perfectly. I can't remember, and somebody can correct me. I don't remember what Sheamus' move called when he holds you and you just slam it on your chest.
The 10 beats of the Botterin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh,
So when he's going, he's doing it on the post, he's doing it on the ropes, he's doing it on the barrier. You're like, wow. And Walter's just Gunther is just taking them, and like Gunther's giving it right back. Like it was a straight up. It almost felt as if we were watching a bar fight over in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It definitely had that big fight feel, and that's what I feel like it really should have been.
I am gonna give it a 4.8, only because it didn't get the finish I wanted.
Yeah.
Which was
Sheamus getting his title.
right.
He deserves it.
So I'm gonna kind of go off of that too. I'm just gonna say this: Big E is somewhere sitting at home, smiling about this match still, because it was just big meaty men slapping meat. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are
Yeah.
if you are a pro wrestling fan, you can't just watch technical spot fests over and over and over again. It gets ridiculous. It gets redundant. It's dumb after a while. Once in a while, we need these kinds of matches with these two big brute monster men just beating the absolute piss out of each other. And you know that match was not rehearsed, scripted. I mean, you know, besides the ending, obviously, but you know that Triple H is probably just back there saying, just go out there and beat the hell out of each other. That's all I want you guys to do. And these two being as good as they are in the ring, they can do that. Sheamus got that standing ovation after the match. I think he earned every single bit of that over the last 13 years he has. He has put on great match after great match for 13 years. Another thing I like to say, Ludwig Kaiser is so underrated. He is fantastic with a microphone in his hand, and he's great in the ring. I'm happy that Imperium is back together. I hope we see a 6-man tag between them and the Brawling Brutes this Friday on SmackDown. I hope we get to see that.
That'd be great.
That match was honestly, like, it's not too often that two big, you know, slugfest guys are in the ring, and I'm, like, dialed in the entire time. I was dialed in the entire time. That match was a 5-star match.
And it was great that when everybody was out there, they brawled at the start and then everybody left. And it was just
they
them
didn't get
two.
involved in the ending at all.
they weren't even out there. It was great. Like, it was, they made it about them too, and that's what
Yep.
made it amazing.
I love how they play off the everyone's fighting and they're just staring at each other in the middle again. I fucking love that.
Hmm.
The bell
Yeah, it
rang
was
and then
good.
the bell rang. They
Yeah.
got after each other.
That was
Yeah.
it. It was almost like a Festus. Where once the
That's
bell
my
rang, you went
guy.
crazy.
It's my guy. Any of you guys want to go first, or?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, cool. Man, because of everything that was happening for personal reasons, I had to rewatch this match. But man, I'm so glad that I did. If I had to go back to watch anything, this is the match I would definitely want to go back to watch. Mainly because of the fact of the brutality that happened in this thing. Sheamus, to me, and I've talked about this on Outside the Brand countless times, and Luff, you can probably attest to this as well. This man has been the MVP of Friday Night SmackDown with the way that his work rate has been going on, and I'm talking about Sheamus, for pretty much ever since the pandemic era happened. Every single match that this man has been in has been great, and he puts in the work. I'm gonna give this match a not 7.5. Wow, a 4.75 out of 5. Mainly because if anybody was to be the one to beat Gunther for that championship, it really should have been Sheamus. I do believe he will get his time, but it just wasn't right now.
I think that's a fair rating.
Yeah, the two people that the crowd wanted to win didn't. And
Oh.
But
All right, laugh.
he's not muted.
No, we can't hear you, buddy.
We can't hear you.
We
man.
can't hear your laugh.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Mm-mm.
No.
Some technical difficulties. That's okay.
He's talking, but it's
How
not
about
coming
now?
through.
There you
There
go.
you
There you go.
There we go. Cool. All right. So I don't know what I said. Oh, Gunther and Sheamus. I didn't care who won this match. I wanted this to be the match of the night, and damn, was it. Those two destroyed each other, and I think the one spot when I thought Sheamus won when he hit the bicycle knee, I thought he had him. I stood up for him. I thought he got him with that one. I don't think there was anything they could have done to make that match better. I'm gonna give it a 5 stars only because in my head there was no wrong way to go. Once I saw the crowd and how hot they were for Sheamus, I thought for a minute they were about to put it on him. Sheamus is the Hall of Famer right now. Of course, getting the IC Championship, he would have been even more bona fide as a Hall of Famer. But match was amazing. I freaking jumped up like this and went when I saw a freaking when they saw Giovanni pop up. Oh my gosh, that was oh man, that made me very happy because when I started watching NXT, that was one of the first mainstays I saw Imperium. So seeing that back because I hate that dumbass picture taking gimmick he has on NXT 2.0 now, but whatever. Hopefully this is over with and Imperium goes back to dominating the roster like they should be because damn, that match of the night for me, 5 stars. No question.
Yo, Loft, my boy Leonardo da Vinci showed up tonight, man.
Bro,
Look at
that was one of the biggest, that was probably my biggest surprise of the night, if I'm being honest with you. That's probably my biggest surprise of the night, just seeing him there. That was
I'd
great.
give that to
was,
Solo, but we'll get to there.
God.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unfold.
Yeah, for sure. 30-minute match.
This match was really great in this match. Like, and you can tell when it was a match when no one in the chat would talk for the full thing. It would be every now and then they would talk, but I would look over and it would still be the same problem. No one live would be talking unless they're like talking about the match or reacting. And I will say that my chest freaking hurted watching that match. I was like Oh my god, I can't freaking breathe. This, oh, his chest was busted open just by a couple of chops. I give this match like 5 stars.
So that's 3 of us that gave it 5 stars. Shadow, I guess you read the chat.
Yeah, I did.
So, yeah, the only thing that would have made that match better is if Sheamus did win and become the Grand Slam champion, in reference to what Laugh was saying about being a Hall of Famer. But, yeah, overall, match of the night from me. Who's going to start talking about the SmackDown Women's Championship match?
Off, that's your man.
That was Laugh. Yeah.
Off, my butt.
That's him. His girl.
Yo,
Yo, he comes in, he's like, yo, what up?
I had to close my door. Let me tell you something. All right. I'm gonna get hyped up for a minute, but last night, after we ended our podcast, I was watching a few predictions videos, and I saw a lot more people that were positive about Liv Morgan. And I was talking to one of my friends, and he was like, "You know what? Liv's gonna pin Shayna clean," and I was like, I never had the doubt in my mind that Liv was going to win. We had this long discussion last night. Liv winning was never a debate for me. I wanted her to tap Shayna out. I really wanted her to tap Shayna out. I think that would have made a huge statement. But seeing the complete shock in my chat, because like I was getting run through the ground as soon as Shayna came out. Oh, Shayna's gonna beat her. Shayna's gonna beat her ass. When Liv pinned her clean, that was my best. That was my happiest moment of the night. The match itself, I think it started off slow because I think Liv and Shayna wrestle two different ways. I think Shayna wrestles a more stiff way, and Liv is more like her offense is more like mainly enziguri kicks and hurricane ranas and more like stuff like that. When she did that big sunset flip power bomb thing that she did the first time I saw it was I think it was at day one in the Becky match.
Right.
When she did that again, I was like, that was my only moment. Was like, oh shit, she might just pin her. That right there was that was a beautiful match to me. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 because, like I said, I still wanted her to tap Shayna out. But damn, just seeing her pin Shayna in the middle of the ring, I think that is the one step closer to what Liv Morgan's championship run should have started with. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people were hyped when Liv won, and then turned immediately when this whole Ronda Rousey stuff started. You know what I'm saying? So I think if we're gonna rewrite this ship, we start with stuff like that, and that's how you build Liv Morgan to be someone that is deserving of the respect and, no pun intended, acknowledgement of her being champion. So W for me. I love it. I love her so much. I'm happy she got it. So it's what it is.
For me, the problem with the match, like, I understand they both work different styles and stuff like that, but unfortunately, the crowd just was not where it needed to be because I don't think anybody was like them personally. There wasn't much of an investment into the match because I mean they had a short program, which is fine, but needs to happen from time to time. It also gave Liv an opponent for the event that wasn't already booked something else, and they needed a strong opponent for her as well. So giving it to Shayna wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I, for one, thought Shayna was going to win just because of the styles are different. I was shocked when the match ended the way it did. For me personally, going into what Lav said with the crowd engagement, I'm giving it a 3.5.
Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll take it. I am a Liv Morgan fan. I do like Liv Morgan. I think she has shown tremendous improvement over the last couple of years. When the lights are bright, she can show up and do a very good job. And I think the kind of problem with this is Shayna Baszler she's a ring psychologist. Like, I mean, you see her working the arm of Liv Morgan throughout this entire match. Liv Morgan is not the best at the long selling of injuries. It seems like she's pretty good at the selling of, you know, getting hit in the face and stuff. She's really good at that, actually. I thought that the match was very average. There was nothing inherently wrong with it. Shayna going over seemed like a slam dunk too, but I mean, hey, having Liv pin someone cleanly as a champion is not a bad booking decision, not at all. The match itself didn't light the world on fire for me. I'd say it's like a 2 out of 5.
You gonna go, Phil?
No, go ahead. Go
Alright.
ahead.
They were in a tough spot on the card. It was
Yeah.
very hard to follow the IC match. So no matter what they did, they really were set up to fail, so to speak.
And like I said, there wasn't really anything that was super wrong with the match. The pacing wasn't on very well, and just I don't know, it just seemed a little clunky.
The other problem with it too is if you wanted to put it earlier in the card, and I'm sorry to cut you off here, Scales.
No, it's fine.
Is if you do it right after the trios women's, everybody's hating on it. Oh, you went back to back women to get them out of the way.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
You're in a tough booking spot, and unfortunately, it just happened to be their match.
The first rundown of the card that I saw that was put out there had them being as the co-main event, like right before Roman and Drew.
Yikes.
So I'm glad they moved it, but I feel it probably would have been better off being after the Judgment Day Edge match.
Yeah.
The match
Just a nice slowdown, nice cool down
Yeah.
from everything.
That's-
Would've been.
that's where I feel would have fit better. The match overall, I thought was pretty decent. There was some good transitions with the countering of the submission holds. Liv throwing some submissions out there on Shayna was a surprise. I didn't expect any of that from her because you normally don't see that from her. And then the way that the finish of the match happened, the transition from the one move to the Oblivion, it felt like it was smooth to me. So overall, I feel this match would be a 3.
I think that's a fair rating. I'd probably go 3 to 3.25 if anything. But like you said, the way that the whole match card was laid out, whoever was going to follow the Intercontinental Championship match with Walter, Gunther, Sheamus, it was going to be, an uphill battle to, thrive in that situation. I thought what they did with Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler was very admirable after everything that kind of went through with Sheamus and Gunther. It was only like around 11 minutes, but like you said, it wasn't anything, too bad of a match. It was just, it's just an uphill battle. Liv Morgan retaining the championship was the right move. It was just a matter of what was going to happen in order to get her there. Was it going to be clean? Was there going to be some shenanigans? That's what we really needed to figure out. For being pinned clean, Shayna Baszler, she's going to be fine, especially with everything going on right now with the new regime. I'd give it a 3-star. Let's just see where Liv Morgan's championship reign goes from here.
Yeah, the only thing that I thought different was going to happen, I thought Ronda was going to interfere and cause Shayna the match to build that feud.
That would have been something too, yeah.
She was supposed to, but she was pulled.
I didn't know that. I didn't know she was pulled.
Hey.
There you go.
We have
Breaking news, Megan again.
Yeah, we have the insider.
Why don't you do this for OTB?
I feel fucking con and you get it before I do, so.
Listen, I'm the AEW guy. You're the WWE person.
Oh,
And Laugh's just the neutral party.
Work, damn it.
Laugh's just the neutral party.
Laugh
I'm
is Switzerland.
I'm out of my business. I'm out of my business. Nothing to do with this.
Oh, no, it's definitely your business. You're a part of the show, buddy.
Nope, you ain't do it. Nope. Talk to Megan. Nope.
Before Laugh goes, in the comment, James said the beach ball was being thrown around. We have confirmation from person inside the stadium that was happening.
yes.
Yep.
Beach balls are actually being thrown around?
Yes.
During That match, yep. I have confirmation.
That's disrespectful as all hell, but you know what?
Oh,
That
my
doesn't
Lord.
surprise me. It
They
doesn't
kept it off
surprise
TV
me.
though, so kudos to them.
Yeah,
I
that-
mean, it's
yeah.
the UK crowd, so obviously they're gonna have a lot of fun regardless. But
Right.
that doesn't surprise me.
I
All
think
right.
Megan's the only one that hasn't gone for this match yet.
Yep.
Mhm.
This match, I was expecting more. I understand they're different things. I was still wanting like more of that, but to me, I was not really that intrigued in the match. Just because it was like it started off very, very slow. And then the ending, to be honest, seemed kind of sloppy, like fast paced, and then it was like done. It didn't seem like a legitimate like ending to a match. It just felt very. It left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't enjoy the match, but I give it like a 2.
Well, if you said that they pulled Ronda from it, maybe they had to adjust on the fly.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
It's not a bad show.
I did think it was super weird that you have this big show and Ronda Rousey's not on it. I did think that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
was
lot of
kind
people.
of anticipating it, waiting for it to happen. Just didn't do it.
There's a lot of people I thought that would show up that didn't.
Oh yeah, that I can stand on that. For real. Shit.
I was waiting for something to happen during the like ending portion of that match, and it just didn't. So I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
okay, I guess." I mean, there you go.
The weird
take it.
part to the end of that match too is they gave Liv a long time in the ring after that match, which is really weird
Mhm.
because usually that means
Yeah.
something's coming.
Right, and that's when I thought Charlotte was actually going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, yeah.
Oh god.
Thanks.
Listen, Laf, I know we both don't want that, but it's
Yeah,
gonna happen eventually.
right.
She's
I'm
gonna
screw
have
up.
to return.
I almost threw up just now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
don't
I
mind.
mean-
She's gonna have to return though at some point.
No, she doesn't. She's cool. She
No,
can go
she-
to this mad wrestling companies. Can
She
go
does,
somewhere.
but she needs to
She's
stay away from the title picture.
Exactly.
Or make a
that's
new
it.
belt
That's
to
like
just have
telling
her
me-
give it. Like, that's it. Like, make the mid-card belt
Oh,
and
we
she
don't
could
need
carry
her
that.
to be like the first new champion of something. No, we don't need that. But
No, because they'll never shut the hell up about it.
They don't shut up about it now.
I said it in the predictions pod, and I'll say it again. Charlotte Flair is going to be the Ric Flair of the women's division.
well, of course,
Hands down.
Yeah. She'll get to 17 world championship reigns before John Cena ever will, and that's
gonna-
Phil,
blasphemy.
don't curse at me. Phil, don't curse at me.
She's gonna
Don't curse
open her robe at flight attendants and make her helicopter.
Listen, Laf, I'm sorry, but that's the way it's happening right now.
I mean, she's got the twin blades to do it, so why not?
It's the way it's happening right now. Like,
All right.
We're not here to slander Charlotte Flair.
I would have loved to just be on a podcast for like 3 hours and do that, but I want to respect the show.
Right.
I want to respect these guys' time.
I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm all for that because I can go for about 3 hours on that too. So
I know,
Oh,
Laf
relax
can.
with that. I'm not. I don't dislike her that much. I couldn't talk to someone. For
Oh,
3
that's
hours.
that's a
3 hours?
full-faced
You know how
lie,
much?
buddy.
You know how bad you gotta hate somebody for talking about it for 3 hours. I don't hate her that much.
I can
I
do
get
it.
that. I know. Certain people I do. Not her.
I can
I'm
talk
sorry. I'm
about
not
Brock
giving 3
Lesnar
hours.
for 3 hours.
Certain cases. Certain cases.
And then let me in a podcast and you allow me to talk about Becky, Roman, and Seth. Strictly just the three of them for 3 freaking hours. Please, I can. That happen.
If Megan gets that, I want a 5-hour Roman slander podcast. Just me. That's what I want.
Ooh.
We
Mad.
can do Tuesday's talk, guys. Come on now.
No,
We
I
can do
can't do that. I can't. I need just me here, so no one gets like, oh, he's talking
Yeah,
about
no,
Roman."
I'll set up a stream for you personally, and you just go.
Nah,
Give him
nah.
You
It can't
gotta-
be going off by the brand, bro.
You
It
gotta
can't,
give him a
bro.
podium to do it. He'll make it that much better.
Yeah,
I'll let it happen.
suit.
Just give me the time and place, bro.
you need a suit, bro.
Moving
So-
on.
the next match is the Judgment Day versus Edge and Ray. Who's starting this
Yes.
one off?
Nate.
Boy. So, if there's any match on the card that I did not have very many expectations for, it was this one. Because with the Liv and Shayna match, I expected Ronda Rousey to come in and blow that whole thing up. So that was my expectation. But my expectations for this match were very, very low. I did think they were going to give Judgment Day the victory here, but obviously that didn't happen. Edge is probably the best legend return of all time. I don't think there's really much debating that because the dude can still put on great matches with everyone he gets in the ring with. He can put on a great match with Damian Priest, as we saw last Monday. He's put on several with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. And now we've got this match that had no business being as good as it was. Like, this match was really, really good.
Yeah.
And the 619, or as Corey Graves called it, the 519 that he attempted, that was a little
Shout out-
ugly.
Shout
It
out
was
to
a little-
Orangeville, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
It was a little ugly, but it was just to pop the crowd, so it was no harm done. The match itself, I'd say probably 4 out of 5, especially with the ending. I thought the ending was just amazing. Poor Finn Balor can't buy a win if he fell on, like he couldn't buy a win. It's amazing how much Finn Balor is just not winning right now, but I'm sure they have something else in place for him. He's a Triple H guy, so we'll see. The ending angle with Dominic turning on not only Rey Mysterio, but also Edge. Dominic kicking Edge square in the cubes, and Edge, like, giving him that why look as he's falling to the ground. Edge made that moment way better than it was, too. And then the clothesline that he had on Rey Mysterio and then ripping the Mysterio shirt off of his body.
You got all of that.
One of the best executed heel turns in recent years. I
Yes.
will die on that hill. I'm suddenly interested in Dominic Mysterio, and I haven't been at all up until like the last maybe 2-3 weeks. So I would say that segment after the match, 5 out of 5.
Here's the thing about that Dominic heel turn. It gives the kid a chance to, breathe, and it gives the kid a chance to step away from the shadow of his father.
Right.
Because
Wow.
before everything that was happening with him, I just thought of him as Rey Mysterio's son. There was nothing gravitating towards me with him. There was nothing that said, look at this kid as the future of this company. Nothing about that. This heel turn gives this man a chance to, prove himself.
Yes.
The match was great. The match was great. I didn't really... I came into this match a little bit more excited with the whole Dominic... with the way that Dominic was being built towards this thing, I'm like, all right, yeah, something's about to happen. So I was intrigued for that reason alone. 619, that was, like you said, that was to pop the crowd. That was cool. He landed inside the ring, which is, and actually props to him instead of, like just completely failing it.
Well, I mean, he missed the kick. That's why.
Yeah, I looked up the area code for Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm calling it the 416. 416 because that's exactly what it is, the area code for that.
Oh,
but
I want to correct you before you continue with that.
is that not it?
No, 519 is from Edge's hometown, which is
Okay.
Orangeville, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
He bails himself from Toronto because nobody knows who the hell Orangeville is.
Right, yeah. I still looked up the area code for Toronto, so I did the 416 anyway, and I was like, that was just awesome. The ending was really cool. The winning of Rey and Edge made the heel turn that much better for me. And
More
I
on
thought it was a really good match. I'd give it a 4. I'd give it a 4.
See, as the match went on, you really thought that he was not going to turn.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
exactly.
like when they first came out, I was like, why is Rey and Edge in red and black and Dom in a bright ash yellow shirt? Like something's happening. And then the
There's a
match
reason
went
for
on.
everything.
The match went on. The match went on. He helped them win, and you're like, okay, it's not happening. And then, wham! Kicks Edge, and then he clotheslines Rey. And it was like,
Nope.
amazing. As for Haley in the chat, she's saying Uncle Eddie. You mean Papa Eddie. because he looks just like Eddie Guerrero with that hair.
He looks just like
I think that was
Eddie.
intentional.
She also said that that clothesline was very Guerrero-esque.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
maybe we get some Latino heat on Monday again.
And
We'll see.
people are saying they're wondering, is he going to join Judgment Day, or
Nope.
could we see
He doesn't
him,
need to now.
or could we see him join Legado?
Please. Oh my
Ooh,
god.
Legado.
Ooh.
That's my
That's
favorite song.
interesting.
Do that. Do
The
that.
only
now.
issue with that is Legato's supposed to be on SmackDown. So I don't know if they
Cool.
would do that.
You can make it work.
If you're trying to
that.
move Dom away from Ray, that would be a perfect time to do it.
Right. So I think that would be a perfect fit for him to go with Santos. And I think that group would be, it'd be like Haley said, it could be the new LWO, the four of them. But
I like that.
I think that would actually be, it all depends on what happens on Monday. I always want to say tomorrow because the pay-per-views are always on Sundays. It's so weird having a WWE pay-per-view on a
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna have to
but-
get used to that now, though, because every pay-per-view from now on is on a Saturday.
Which is
So,
seems
better.
to be, yeah.
Which is better for me because I never work on Sundays. So
I just want to bring up one point before somebody
Yep.
goes again, real quick. I live tweet during these shows and everything like that, and I was saying during the ending of the match, it doesn't look like a heel turn is coming for Dominic, and that kind of sucks for him. But then 2 minutes later, when that goddamn thing happened, I'm like, I was marking out in my tweet saying, yes, it finally happened. This kid could finally have some personality and character. Absolutely love it. It was crazy. And like you said, it didn't look like it was going to happen. Then when it did, it was
Yeah,
was
it
so
just-
perfectly well done.
the way that they did it just made it better when it did happen. Because I'm sitting
Yes.
there waiting for it throughout the entire match, and when it was done, it's like, yeah, I guess it's not happening now. And then they swerved it.
So perfectly well done.
I'm giving this match a
Sure.
4.25.
All right, so we're all just gonna, so far from the people that have chatted, we're all just gonna ignore the fantastic entrance of Edge and how
He
that
wore a
crowd was
mask,
so
bro.
alive.
I was waiting.
That man came
It was
out,
Fedor mask.
his
In a-
mask was just
He's so
Mm.
cool.
He
glorious.
wore
so
a
cool.
mask, bro.
And not, and you had the crowd just going with the song. Like we got to hear that live. Like that was
Yeah.
not even just on TV. We got to hear the actual stadium in Megan's live, and it was so much louder in the live than it was on TV. But it was still loud on TV. And
60,000 people singing Metalingus. Crazy.
you just love to hear it. Like it was just fantastic. And for-
I wish they sung Judgment Day's theme too, but they didn't.
Oh my
I guess,
gosh.
but
that would have been
I love the other side.
that would have been an Orange and Brand moment, all right? Orange
Sure.
and Black Brand moment, all right? But for me, this match was the storytelling between the four of them involved was just amazing. And then you added in Dominic and Rhea outside and the storytelling going on out there, and Rhea beating the crap out of Dominic, which was hilarious. And then you have Ray saving Dom, and then, which was also the first time they've even attempted to hit Rhea. So
Yes.
kudos to them for throwing it that way a little bit.
I mean, he
He
technically
smacked her
hit.
right
He
on the
technically hit
birthday.
Dom, and
He
then
did, but it was still inadvertently hitting Rhea, which is with protecting her from getting the backlash of a man hitting a woman.
Even
Yeah.
though she whacked her dome on the barricade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she full sent that. Like it
Oh,
was,
yeah.
it was great.
The way that Ray just flung himself into everything like that, that was so. Oh my god. I everything about it.
No, the ending was great. I think I thought Judgment Day again was going to win. But the ending, it makes sense now to why it happened the way it happened. What I'm
Mhm.
confused, and I'll go with Nate on this with the whole Edge look, is once Dom kicked Edge. I don't understand why he took off his shoe.
it got stuck in between his legs, and it came off. The one
Oh, okay.
shoe did, so he took off the other one just so he wasn't having one shoe on.
Okay, that makes sense. I must have missed that whole thing.
I missed that entire thing. I didn't know.
James, comment in the chat real quick.
Which comment?
The bit where Damien fell on the barricade.
Oh,
There was a lot of nut shots in this match.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like,
And
oh.
during
He
Megan,
sold it really well.
Megan was saying her chest hurt after the Walter and
Yep.
Sheamus match. Well, we all had our nuts hurting after the tag team match.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And
that hurt.
oh man, just the ending was so good for me. You couldn't have written that story any better.
Oh no.
And
You think
like
this
Megan,
is done?
no, far from done. I think they got at least one more match left.
When did
We
this
need an
start?
Edge and Finn
Like-
Balor one-on-one still.
And Megan asked in her live before the match even started, when's the Dom turn happening? And I said, and Nate can attest, I said it'll happen after the match is over.
Yeah.
This feud has been going on for so long. When is this gonna
Long-term
end?
storytelling.
It's riveting story though.
And
It's
I
different.
love it. Don't get me wrong. It's just
They
we
just
gotta
keep
figure out
adding.
an ending.
They just keep adding different elements to it, which makes it so much better.
Yeah.
For me, if we're basing it off entrances, it's a 5, but it's not. So I'm gonna give it
Unbiased.
4.3.
Okay.
You with those
Yeah.
weird numbers always.
The 4.3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's odd.
Oh, one more note, and I said it earlier as well, and it just reminded me with James in here. I believe this will lead up now with the Dom turn. It's going to lead up to a WrestleMania match between Dom and Ray, where Ray hands on his legacy, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Dominic's gonna be the one to retire his father, and that's the only way it should go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Naturally, I think so at this point in his career.
Lob, did you talk about this match yet, or were you
No,
kind of just?
Megan hasn't
No.
either.
Okay.
Oh.
Megan go first.
This match was honestly really good. It was everything I expected it to be, even the whole Dom heel turn. I was waiting for that, and the minute it happened, I said, fucking finally. It was a long time coming, and I am so glad that it finally freaking happened. I'm excited to see where it goes. Monday, I did want Judgment Day to win, but I'm not mad that Edge won, and it's great. I'm not mad about it. I give this match a 4.5, mainly because Judgment Day didn't win.
Yeah, I mean, the match was cool. I was very, I freaking jumped up when Dom actually hit him. I was screaming at the TV for him to finally hit him, and I'm happy he hit Edge first because Edge's face told every story in just those like 5 seconds of him falling to the ground. Like that despair on his face just made it so much better. He clocked Ray. That was the best clothesline I saw damn near all night. He got all of that shit. That was
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that was beautiful.
Got all of it.
Yeah, the match was cool. The turn at the end was great. I was a big skeptic of Dom turning because I just didn't want him to fall into the I'm Rey Mysterio's son hole and then just never be anything of it. So I hope with Triple H there, he can build something for Dom, for him to be the next in line for the lineage of Rey Mysterio, so he doesn't fall in the hole that I feel like he possibly could have fell in if we were still in the era of Vince McMahon. So, our match, you feel me? It was cool. I enjoyed it.
All right, so we all went over that one. That leaves us with 2 matches left. Who is starting with the Seth and Riddle?
That's me. What can I say about this? I loved every second of it. For me, I'm dying on this hill right now. This is the best Seth Rollins we've ever seen, bar none. I love everything about this man. Riddle, he continues to impress day in and day out with his facial expressions ever since, you know, I don't want to say Randy's injury was a blessing in disguise, but with him just being solely focused on as Riddle and Matt Riddle or whatever way you want to call it now, facial expressions gotten better. Everything about this man's like in-ring work has gotten better. The guy knows how to tell a story. And Seth Rollins, whether you like him, whether you don't, things were happening in this match that you just felt like it was just perfectly well done and told. The story got personal when it happened on Monday Night Raw, where they did the sit-down interview about the wife, about the kids, saying he doesn't have a family anymore. They brought it up again tonight, which I thought, all right, they're bringing it up again tonight. They're going to have this man get a redemption story. But they didn't. They had Seth Rollins win the match, his first win since January on major WWE pay-per-view at the Royal Rumble.
And that was a DQ.
Versus
That
Roman
was
Reigns.
DQ. Yes.
Roman's
thought it was
Roman's only
perfectly
lost
well
on a
done.
pay-per-view, I might add.
Right. Yeah. That was perfectly well done. I give this thing a 4.5 out of 5. And with the way that things were going, Seth said, I'll see you never, but I don't think we're done just yet.
No.
And I don't want it to be.
One more match.
Most of the time, though, Seth, once he ends a feud, he kind of ends the feud and they move on. But with this one, I feel like there's a lot more to be told.
Yes.
Especially-
And I want to say one more thing. I'm very happy that Triple H did not do this at SummerSlam.
Yep.
I love the fact that he wanted to give it more time to breathe, and doing this at Clash of the Castle was the perfect way to do it. A lot of people wanted a stipulation into this match, like a no disqualification or anything like that. I was the one that was saying no, let's not do that, because there's a lot more story to be told. You don't always need a stipulation to tell a story. Let's just say it that way. And
So
Oh,
going off your point of this, the waiting till now, I feel like Triple H looked at the script Vince had for that setup and said, "No, fuck that. I'm gonna rewrite this and let it breathe," like you said.
Yeah.
Because Vince wanted it at SummerSlam, but with Triple H taking over the week before SummerSlam or a couple weeks before, he probably looked at that script and said, "What the hell is this shit?" You have two general athletes
yes,
who can go, and I feel like that's why it went the way it did. For me, this match was, to me, it still is the match of the night.
you're giving this one the match
From
tonight.
bell
Okay,
to bell, it's match of the night for me.
it's fair.
There was just so much emotion to it. The twists, the turns, the reversals, the spots, the little jabs back and forth that the microphones caught. Like, it was just so good. I think anything Seth touches is gold.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why I
And-
say it's the best version of him right now, because everything he's been doing, stellar.
I'm gonna give a little throw here, but since he's had that absolute bomber of a match with Bray at that Hell in a Cell, everything he's done has been great on a different level.
Like he had a chip on his shoulder after that match.
Yeah, like nothing. Like he has stepped up every bit of his game. He has stepped up every match. He's improved his storytelling.
The only
And-
thing I will say against that is the eye for the eye match.
Yeah.
That was also pandemic.
Yeah, but that was after that.
And I know, but they were still trying to find a direction.
I mean, it was a good match. It just stupid stipulation.
Right.
Him winning, I believe it was like called like the worst match of the year or whatever. Now, bear in mind, Dave Meltzer, we don't really care about him over here, I don't think. But
Yeah, no.
having the whole thing of the worst match of the year definitely got a chip on the shoulder, like Nate said. He's like, yeah, you want to give me worst match of the year? I'll show you. I'll show you
Right.
something.
Yeah, and he hasn't put on anything less than a banger.
Right. And look at his stuff with Edge, for example, too.
3 match of the year candidates with Edge last year.
For me, obviously, I said it's the match of the night. It's a 5.5, but I also forgot something from our last conversation.
I'm
It's
sorry.
straight. I'm going to take a shot at CM Punk here, but Edge is at least doing what he said he was going to do, and that was enhance the talent around him, not himself.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I'm a Punk fan. Dude. But
I'll give you that. It's just
He
his
made
name is
he
Phil, and
made
I always
Damien.
Fact.
his name is
Hopefully
Phil, and
Damien
I always
Priest
have
looks like
to
a beast on
support my
Monday.
Phils out here.
But like I said, it's a 5.5 for me in the Seth and Riddle match.
So
Fine,
James,
Phils.
the Seth attire was a tribute to Sir Elton John.
Yes, it was, and so was his attire in the press conference afterwards.
Yep.
No, it was for Bret Hart.
Well,
The
he
press
wore
conference?
the glasses.
He still had the Elton
He still
John glass.
yeah, but the jacket was for Bret Hart.
Oh, we
Yeah.
don't like Bret Hart. Continue.
Hey, no, okay.
I'll go last on this match.
This match just through and through was just amazing. The Bo Derek from Seth, the
That was an
transitions,
awesome spot.
the transitions they had from going, just from the way they went from one move to the other, everything just flowed. And I know that they had history in the back. Hey, Ches, thank you very much for the raid.
And to be ready.
And you know the history that they've had, where a year and a half ago, Seth didn't even want to work with Riddle at all. Like, he didn't want to be anywhere near him. And for them to come out and do what they did today was just unbelievable. The curb stomp from the second rope was magic. Like, I was like, how is he going to do a curb stop without running? And then all of a sudden he starts climbing. I was like, he's not going to do it. And he did. And it worked. When he
I lost my shit on that one.
when he did the throwback and he did the whole Randy Orton DDT from the middle rope, I was like Orton's coming out, because he was there, but I guess they wanted to keep him off TV, unfortunately, because it would have been a nice pop for him to come out just to do like a distraction. But this is right up there. This is tied as my second best match for the night. My match of the night was the IC match. This one I'm giving a 4.5.
I really enjoyed this match. It was one of the matches I was really excited about because I knew the whole story behind those two, like backstage and all that. Like, I knew it was a real life heat thing, and I knew Triple H really wanted to bring in like real life crap into that promo. And so I just knew going into this match, it was just all gonna be legit. It was just gonna be a big brawl. It was just gonna be like a legitimate fight between those two, and it was like, and they lived up to it. There was no like down point in it. It was all like up. This for me was match of the night. I really enjoyed this match. I loved the little things here and there Seth was doing to try to trigger freaking Matt by doing his signature move here, by doing it Randy Orton stuff. When he did that fucking curb stomp, that must be like that lived up to when he jumped off of the top rope and then Randy like RKO'd him. That lived up to that. This match was
Ooh.
fun.
Or when he jumped off Randy's back and got RKO'd.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the same night he cashed in the briefcase too.
Yeah,
Greatest cash in history.
greatest cash in of all time. Stand by that.
The reversal
Hands
that Riddle had on the RKO attempt was pretty sick too.
Yeah.
It was
The
something
one where I put him
I
in the
don't
sleeper.
I don't think we've seen that before. Like, that was
I don't think so either.
that was very unique. That was pretty cool. I guess when you do them,
If
you know how to
anybody was
copy
gonna
it.
be able to do that, it was him.
Yep.
So,
So your match rating for Megan was
Oh yeah, match rating. 5 out of 5.
Megan. What's your match rating?
We didn't hear you.
5 out of 5.
Okay.
Hey,
Wow.
loud and clear that time.
This match didn't get going for me until like the second half of it, but once it got going, it got going. I'm not surprised Rollins won. The storytelling was great. I would love to see these two wrestle again. Things worked. I would have been happy if Randy came out. If Randy came out, I think that would have been so much better. They really didn't have to do anything. If he just showed up at the top of the ramp or did something, to show that he was there. But either way, great match. I'm only going to give it a 3.5 because I didn't like the way it started up. I think it started off very slow. But second half of it, I'll give the second half of it a 5 because that was the deciding factor for me over if I enjoyed the match or not. Also, my brain wasn't really on this because as soon as this match started, I'm just thinking about the main event. I was not 100% into this. I can't even lie. I was not 100% into this until the second half. I was just extremely nervous for the match afterwards. But
I mean, that's fair.
Fair.
That's
fair.
the way. As soon as Rollins came out, I was like, "Yeah, I'm into this." But I already figured Rollins was gonna win, so it wasn't really something like, "Ooh," But
By the way, the sound of 60,000 people like doing the whole like that was so beautiful.
I said that right before the match, before they entered. I'm like, we're about to hear 60,000 people sing Seth Rollins' theme song along with him.
And they did it multiple times.
They did it throughout the match. It was amazing. So
And
now
I love Michael Cole's commentary in all of this. Everything about commentary from Michael Cole, people don't give him enough respect.
No, I do. Michael Cole with Pat McAfee is the greatest duo of commentators ever.
Did you hear the pop that he got tonight when he came out
No, I didn't.
before the show? And people have posted on Twitter. It was insane.
I'll have to go look at that.
Yeah.
I'm still slightly depressed that we did not get Pat McAfee on this card for commentary.
He was doing pro college football coverage.
Yeah, it was it's opening day for college football. It's tough.
Right. So anyways, my take on this match, anyone that knows me knows that Seth Rollins is my guy. He's my favorite. I put him on my Mount Rushmore for WWE, and I do that without apologizing for it. Seth Rollins is the fucking man. I hold him to a higher standard than I hold a lot of the other guys on the roster for that reason. And one of the things is, after that match with Bray Wyatt, as good as the match was itself, the match was not a bad match. They wrestled just fine. It was the way it ended, the story that they tried to tell, trying to not let Bray Wyatt eat a pin, I guess, when they probably should have just had Bray Wyatt win the match anyways. But I digress. That match put a chip on his shoulder, as we've already discussed. He has been in full throttle ever since then. And he is not only... So, like, the in-ring work was never a problem. Seth has always been one of the best workers in the world ever since he showed up in NXT. Ever since he worked in Ring of Honor. One of the best in-ring workers in the world. The problem was he didn't have a full grip on his character, even when he was a babyface. So now we see Seth Rollins in total control of his character. And he's honestly right, for me, I put him right on the level of Roman Reigns as far as their heel work and how good they are and how vital they are to the company right now. Seth and Roman are the two top guys in this company, and I don't think there's much debate around that for me. And that match, as soon as the bell rang, they're throwing fists, just like I thought. And it was everything I wanted. Seth using the Bro Derek and the Randy Orton DDT against Riddle, I loved. I don't know, Rollins' heel work is just incredible. And I did kind of see the win coming. I did predict Rollins to win. Rollins could use a win like this. Riddle is not hurt by it at all. I do see them having a rematch at Extreme Rules. Probably an Extreme Rules match, honestly. But this match, just from start to finish, bell to bell, it lit me up the entire time. So I'm going to give it a 4.75.
I would love to see a fight pit match at Extreme Rules.
That would be cool, too.
Because we know Riddle, that's his match. So that'd be unique if they did that on the main roster. Because it's only been done in NXT.
No, the belt came back. I wonder why.
Because we're about to talk about... What's the time for it, Shadow?
Broken Dreams?
No, it's time...
For
It's time!
For the
Yeah,
main
no,
event!
Shout
Megan,
out to Mark Henry.
Your tribal chief.
Oh God.
The tribal queen. Yeah.
Hey, we're not talking
Hey!
about those.
It's the
Megan,
shirt. Listen. This main event lived up to the hype. Yes, it was not the outcome that we all wanted, because I'm pretty sure we all wanted Drew to win. I was biased. I'm like, I don't care who wins. I'll be happy either way. Obviously, I'm happy that Rowan won. But I really thought Drew was going to win. When we got Broken Dreams back, I was so freaking hyped. We heard the crowd, the crowd was screaming and was all like pumped. You could like feel the electricity through the screen.
Goosebumps.
It was amazing. I do wish they would have just stayed with Broken Dreams and not changed to his now theme.
Completely agree.
Stay with, please.
Yes.
Because I got chills when it came up on the screen as Broken Dreams. Like, just chills.
And the fact they updated the Titantron. They updated the Titantron. They went through all of his career.
Yep.
Exactly.
Up until now.
Maybe it's coming as a full-time thing.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it was a one-off. But it would have been nice
But
if that was the only one they did tonight.
And the fact that they did that for Drew to kind of like lose, I'm wondering like why? Like, is there a bigger plan that they're planning, or what's going on? And Solo, now part of the
Called it.
Here's the thing with me. If Roman was ever going to retain tonight, there was only one reason and the one person that I only thought of, and that was Solo Sikoa. Because the Usos can't get to the UK, and Sami Zayn was written off television. So Solo Sikoa was legitimately the only person that could have helped him. Because apparently Paul Heyman to WWE is like dead at this point, because we haven't seen him since.
Well, he was there. Just.
I know. I know, but still.
I wish.
WWE
I was hoping he came back, but.
Yeah.
I mean, typically you got to resolve after an F5, right?
Right. So I mean, either way, this was just a 30-minute classic. Whoever was gonna win this thing deserved it. At the end of the day, Drew McIntyre. We know how good this guy is. From being the chosen one to getting fired to building himself back up to this phenomenal athlete. And Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. I can't listen. I don't acknowledge him. I don't acknowledge the man. But the thing is, you have to respect what he has been doing as of late.
I don't.
I know. We'll talk about it. But
You got 4 out of 6 in here doing it.
all I have to say is I respect. I respect the guy. The guy continues to banger after banger. Sheamus. 4.5 out of 5. The only thing it would have made a 5-star match out of it would have been Drew winning. Actually, no, I'm gonna give it 4.75 because of Broken Dreams too. There you go, 4.75.
And I have weird numbers. All right.
I did 4.75. Okay. You did like 4.3, 4.7. Like what?
So this match for me, I put as I put it as an all-timer. Like it's probably the top 3 for main events for WWE this year. It's right up there with the Last Man Standing match with Brock and Roman, and up there with Becky and Bianca from WrestleMania. Those are probably the best 3 main event matches of the year. I say this. It seemed like a great time. The storyline, the build-up, the atmosphere, the environment. It seemed like it was time for Drew McIntyre to get that moment that he's earned. So I do think WWE dropped the ball on that a little bit. However, Roman Reigns, just when we thought he was getting stale and boring, is the last 2 or 3 months stepped it right back up and has become way more interesting again. And I like the full commitment to Roman Reigns. I do. I love Roman Reigns. The match was just an absolute brawl from start to finish. And there was one moment, I know you guys know exactly what moment I'm talking about. That first Glasgow kiss that McIntyre hit on Roman Reigns would have killed a lesser man. Like,
Yeah.
that looked like it fucking hurt. It, like, you saw the sweat splash off of their bodies when they did that. It was violent.
The camera angle
that?
was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do think this is an all-timer main event. It's the only thing that takes it back for me is it did feel like it was Drew's coronation time. But again, I can't complain too much because Roman is that good that either person winning was not a bad booking decision. So the booking is not a bad decision. It's just the story they told felt like it was going to be Drew's time. But I give this match a 4.5 out of 5.
All right, Laugh, you go ahead.
And I put Lily away. Put that away. Put it away. I hate that thing.
I really,
No,
That
he was
thing.
calling out to me.
Oh my gosh, I hate that thing.
you know that doll does not talk.
Away.
We talked about this already.
Go ahead, Laugh. Give your thoughts on the match.
Again, I apologize for what I'm about to say. So I'm saying that right now. You can yell at me later.
Oh, I will.
I am. When does this nightmare end, bro? When do we have to keep watching this man win? I don't know. I don't know how much farther they can go with this, bro. It's just like I don't care about Solo Sikoa joining. His name is Solo, and they got him in the group. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know how many times you have to have this man consistently win, where it's like he says that he smashed them all. I smashed them all. So why are we still doing this now? He beat there's no one left. I was done with this when he beat John Cena. That broke my heart completely into many different pieces. I was crying. That's my end game. So everything after this was just worse. Nate said I felt like this was Drew's night. I won't call this a full Triple H L. I just think that was a stupid decision. I don't think that Roman should have won this match. I don't think Solo should have helped him. I think Roman doesn't need these ultimate interference matches every time. You know what I'm saying? It's doesn't seem right to me. You know what I'm saying Drew should have got him at that last Claymore kick. It should have been over because the crowd obviously wanted it, and I feel like there's not much more you can do with Roman Reigns. You know, I don't want Solo Sikoa to become just the third Uso. I don't want Roman to just have this little point of him being hot and then, well, hot to everyone else because he's been boring hell since for me forever. But I don't know where you go. I don't know where you're gonna come on SmackDown and say acknowledge me, and then someone else is gonna fight him, and then they're gonna lose again. I don't have any hope in the Cody Rhodes, Big E. I don't have any hope because all my hope has been destroyed for the past. All my dreams have been broken repeatedly, and tonight was the end. I don't care. I wish I cared about this, but I just don't. Now it's just overkill. So I'm just watching this because I'm a content creator for professional wrestling. I saw that, Nate. When Theory came out and Tyson Fury hit him, I'm like, okay, now we're really acting like we don't care about anything else now.
I wanted somebody to talk about
I
that.
would-
I'm like,
Okay.
why isn't anybody
No.
talking about Theory?
I was going to.
They don't care. Why do we care?
I expected it, but I didn't expect Tyson Fury to be the one to take him out. I thought Solo Sikoa would take him out.
Well, I think it was Chris Rock that said, "You got knocked the fuck out."
Repeatedly. I'm like, what are we doing?
You got knocked the fuck out.
Why are we doing this now? It's just, I'm just one day Roman will
Oh, but
lose and I
by the
will.
way, guys, by the way, he's
everyone.
still Mr. Money in the Bank, so you're
Who
fine.
cares? Who
Everybody
cares?
can
Really?
calm down.
Could care
He
less,
needs to
bro.
He
Nobody
needs to
cares.
stop
Nobody
handing
should
it to the-
care, but he's still Mr. Money in the Bank, so calm down.
No, at this point, he keeps handing
I
it to the
know, a
referee.
lot
That
of
should
people
just
are
count
like-
as a cash in.
Yeah.
it doesn't
but
count until the
You
bell
gotta have
rings.
the bell
The bell has to ring.
I had the bell ring.
This would have been a perfect opportunity.
Because I know
Y'all remember how long Carmella, the ref, held on to the fucking briefcase when Carmella cashed it in, just standing there like an idiot?
Is this a briefcase? Yeah, man.
they made referees look like idiots.
Yep, I agree.
Should have known at that ref bump. I should have known at that ref bump something bad was gonna happen.
Well, once
As soon as
Charles
that happened,
Robinson
I was like,
came out,
fuck that.
you knew the ref was
Yep.
going down.
That's exactly what
Okay.
happened.
All right, I guess we're done.
Once
we're gonna-
Charles Robinson was the referee for this match, you knew something
You-
was happening.
You
You
knew
knew it
you
was-
knew there was going to be shenanigans.
Lil
One day he'll
Nate.
lose, man.
Lil
One day.
Nate. I mean, it happens all the time with him.
I said it to my brother while I was on the phone with him. I said, "Oh, Charles Robinson in the match is the ref." I said,
He's
"We're,
gonna
we're
call.
seeing shenanigans."
Yep. So I think that leaves you two, Shadow and Scales.
Yeah, Matt, you can go.
All right. So, I really thought Drew was going to come out second after Roman did. Like, I thought Roman was going to come out first and then have Drew come out so we can get more focus on
That's
Drew
what should have
on
happened.
it. I think that was the original plan. I think it got switched up. I just... The match itself, the storytelling inside the match, everything was just done so well. I would have had, personally, I thought what should have happened was Theory should have cashed in, made it the triple threat, but only made it for one belt. And then Drew could have won the one belt, Roman could have kept the other one, and then Theory could have taken the pin, and Roman would still keep his streak of Universal Title Championship and not being pinned.
Right.
And that would have
Yeah.
made the most sense. The crowd would have been happy as hell. Roman's stuff would have still been intact, and it would have been a win-win situation.
Yeah.
But, you know, WWE is known for not allowing people in their hometowns to get victories. It happened earlier the night with Sheamus, even though he got a huge standing ovation after the match, which I thought was really cool.
Wouldn't it have Walter have got that hometown though? Technically.
I mean, Sheamus got it.
Technically speaking, yeah.
They wanted Sheamus to win.
I understand that, but I'm just saying technically they did give the hometown or home country guy the win.
Well, that's not what the crowd wanted. So that's what I mean.
Okay.
There was a lot of people from Ireland there, though. Apparently, Ireland had a
It's-
lot of ticket sales.
Yeah, Ireland is right. It's real close to
To
Wales
Wales.
over there. So
They can go
Um,
whales watching. Continue.
That was crazy.
Y'all-
I don't even know if I
Wait,
can continue
right
after that.
there.
I really don't know if I
That's
can
crazy.
continue. That was just like
I was in shock for a minute. That was nuts.
I
was just
I face
wow.
palmed myself. I literally face palmed myself on screen. Like
That's the point.
I don't even
um,
think that's PG to facepalm yourself.
I'm thinking I'm giving this match a 4.5 out of 5. It ties with Seth and Riddle for me. And it was just a great storytelling. Solo coming back, Solo showing up. I called that since forever. Once we knew the Usos couldn't go there, I said he's going to be the one that's going to help him win. I wish Fury didn't get involved and knock Theory out because
Yeah.
that punch it was such a good punch too. I want to know if he really hit him, and I want to know if that was planned or not. maybe Fury just doesn't like Theory and just took it into himself.
He definitely hit him. He definitely hit him.
Austin Theory's been getting.
I'm glad that.
lately.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But I'm glad that Fury didn't. If Fury was gonna get involved in like the actual decision of the match, I felt like we'd be talking about a whole different subject. I'm glad that he only got involved with the whole Theory situation and not getting involved with Drew and Roman until afterwards. Fury
100%.
shaking Roman's hand after that kind of, shook my head a little bit. I'm like, what the heck they're doing with that? I don't know what
It
that
was
was
just
about.
champion showing champion respect.
Yeah, I think it's just a mutual
Yeah.
respect of the sports.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that's all it is. I'm sorry. I don't want a match with Roman and Fury. I'm sorry.
Well,
I
no,
just
that's
don't.
not gonna happen.
No, it won't.
I also like how quick and to the point Karrion Kross's appearance was. He didn't
Yeah.
he didn't overshadow the match. He didn't really interfere. He just threw a water bottle at Drew and dipped.
I like that too. What
Yeah,
you guys think
Shadow.
about the singing at the end?
See, I was just
I don't
gonna
think we
say
were
that.
supposed to see that. I don't think we were supposed to see that.
Yes, you were. because that's what Fury does after all his fights. He sings to the
But-
crowd, and
But
it's
for me,
and it's his
And
hometown.
the thing that was interesting about it too is Drew was asking like, "Hey, I mean, I don't know if we're still on the air, but
that was the
you
second,
got
yeah,
some
for the
free
second
time,
part.
Yeah, you
I-
guys. Let's.
I think it was
on
spo-
the air, but
I think
see,
it was supposed to
Caroline?
cut after the first one.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
How was he singing?
I saw a lot of backlash though on that. It's like social media and everything like that. Like,
was
why
just
are we
weird.
singing? I'm like, guys, just let it happen. It's nothing to get so heated about.
Right.
He just lost.
It's-
And he's singing the song. Like, come on now.
It's
this
not
could be
guys.
another dig.
about.
This will be another dig, depending how you want to look at it. But it's no different than singing Judas. It's no different than anything else. They're just having fun.
Yeah, that's pro wrestling, man. But
You want to end the show on a happy note. Yeah, sure, Drew didn't win, but you can have the crowd be happy going out. That's all it was for me.
And that's what they did.
You
Yep.
now have the crowd in Cardiff walking down to bars singing because of Fury and McIntyre, right?
Like,
I think
listen,
Megan's trying to get our attention. Hold on.
All right.
I gotta go. I gotta go get some food. Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
I
Megan.
will
Anytime.
guys later tonight. Okay.
We'll see you later.
hey, Megan.
Bye.
So Shadow, what did you think of the main event?
There's not much more I could say that you guys haven't discussed. For me, I would have liked the McIntyre outcome, but I'm not against the Roman outcome
I'm not exactly. That's kind of how I felt about it.
because, and it has nothing to do with Cody Rhodes. I think because everybody and their grandmother believed Drew was walking out is why we got the Roman win.
That's fair.
And it's credit to Triple H. This story is done, thankfully. It'll be interesting to see now where Roman goes. I don't think we're going to see another match. I don't think we should. I think this was the end all be all of this little story. Other than that, I'm giving the match a 4.8.
Solid.
Everything all around, they told the story great. You had Roman second guessing himself in the beginning, wondering what the hell's going on, why he wasn't beloved there, etc. You had Drew second guessing himself with every move. That Glasgow kiss gave me an absolute headache.
And then he hit another one later on.
But that man, like, it's just ironic that you're doing this in a soccer stadium. But for me, like I said, it is what it was a good overall match. You can't argue. I mean, you can argue the outcome, but you're talking to brick walls at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Roman winning that match. It's just the story felt like it was going a different direction.
Correct.
Nobody left
100%.
that match looking. Nobody left that match looking weaker than they went in.
Drew McIntyre looks better than he did. He
So
Even argue better.
had the match won.
Right, until Sokola, yep.
Right. So
And-
like,
I don't think this is done.
Do you see them
I
fighting
don't-
again at
I don't
Extreme?
know if it should be done, but
I think Drew's
McIntyre-
gonna take a step back from the title picture for a while because that seemed like the time and place to do it. A rematch now in Extreme Rules in Philadelphia just doesn't seem like a fitting conclusion.
no.
there's no appeal there for that.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's just with everything going on with Carrion, that's what I want to see going on right now. I can see him mixing it up with Drew because obviously I don't think Carrion's going to get into the world title picture right now. It's way too soon for him, and even if so, it could just be another Roman W. Right now, I think where Carrion belongs, that's with Drew McIntyre. So we'll see where that goes.
So, do we see Roman on Monday?
Monday, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, no.
So who does Braun come out and confront?
Speaking of which, I had a
You know-
question I wanted to ask since the beginning of the pod. Where is Raw this week?
Raw is in Kansas City, Missouri.
So they're flying.
So-
They're flying out now. They probably flew out already.
So
Yes.
Roman won't be there
Like,
based
to
off
prepare.
finishing that night.
No.
Neither will Drew.
Well, Drew's on SmackDown anyways.
Yeah, Drew's on SmackDown. Roman is
True.
both champ, so he should be on Raw. And that's part of the issue as to why I think they should split the belts.
I
Right.
don't know why they just wouldn't have a show in maybe
In
London.
the UK? Yeah, would have made
Yeah.
sense.
Just to have that electric crowd. You would have more. You don't have to do it in Cardiff, obviously, but you could have moved it to London. It had a lot of people travel there for it because it's not that far.
O2 Arena, Wembley, something like that.
Well,
Maybe not
would
Wembley.
you're not going to do a double stadium.
You
Yeah.
could have though.
I mean, they
That's
could
the
have. They
thing.
probably could have filled it, but
So if I can make one, it might be a bold proclamation, but I stand by it based on the reactions that Roman Reigns gets every week. So Chewy was actually talking to me about this earlier. He is no longer a heel. He is no longer a heel. Roman Reigns is also no longer a babyface. He is Roman Reigns.
Yep.
He gets a reaction the same way John Cena gets a reaction, the same way The Rock gets a reaction, the same way Stone Cold Steve Austin gets a reaction. He is that for this generation, and that's not too. I don't think that's too bold of a statement to make.
and they
No, I
always
don't think so
said
either.
WWE doesn't know how to build people.
Roman Reigns is.
They built
is-
Roman. He is a superstar. He is.
Oh yeah, he is a legit megastar. He is the top selling active merch seller
Well,
on the active roster.
To be honest, though, they didn't know how to build Roman for a long time there.
No, they didn't.
Well-
They booked him horribly wrong, and he had to give Vince an ultimatum to get him to be a heel.
and look what happened. And that was the first sign that Vince doesn't know the business anymore.
He's not the biggest star in the company right now. He's the biggest star in the industry right now, and it's not even close.
The Tribal Chief character revitalized Roman Reigns' career, and that's not even that's not a debate because we know what this Tribal Chief gimmick meant to him from the start. They paired him up with Paul Heyman, which was a brilliant move from the start. Paul Heyman wanted to work with Roman for so long, and this was the perfect character to do it with. Everything when it comes to his matches for the title defenses were stellar in the storytelling department. You might not like him as a pro wrestler, right? But the man can tell stories from Kingdom Come, especially with this Tribal Chief gimmick.
I'm gonna
Like
go.
I said,
I was gonna say I'm gonna go as far to say as the Tribal Chief gimmick revitalized WWE.
okay.
I would say it carried the pandemic era.
Because once he came back and they started with that, it changed how people were looking at WWE.
The only other person I would say, I mean, obviously the whole Tribal Chief thing, it definitely did its thing for the pandemic era, and I don't think anybody can really debate that. But I want to give Drew McIntyre his flowers too, with the way that he kind of carried the pandemic era before Roman came back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that right there in itself, him putting the company on his back at a time where it was unprecedented, that has to be said.
Him and Sheamus,
Oh yeah.
Sasha and Bailey, like those were the four carrying it when Roman wasn't there. Bray Wyatt as
Yes.
well, before the whole Hell in a Cell thing.
And let's be real, it was a very valid reason why he wasn't there. Like, you want to take care of yourself.
No, 100%. I think everybody understood why he walked away. He didn't walk away, but asked to step away. Like nobody knew the repercussions of it. Nobody, protecting yourself after a lengthy battle with leukemia. It's nothing but respect on that angle, or
The
front angle.
I wish I could join this discourse and like positive discussion about Roman Reigns, but I physically can't. I would be lying to myself if I could. I don't.
But you-
Love, say something nice about Roman Reigns.
I'm not saying anything nice about Roman Reigns. Okay, I'll say this. He makes very good shirts. How about that?
There,
Alright.
that's
There you go.
That's something.
I think he has. I think he makes great. I have 2 of his shirts. I think he has
But
great-
laugh. Let's be real. That's the great thing about pro wrestling. You don't have to have the same opinion as me, Nate, Phil,
Yeah.
Matt.
Well, you
You're
will say
entitled to that.
something about Roman Reigns.
Listen, I've been telling Loft this on
Yeah.
our podcast ever since we really kind of started with this whole tribal chief thing. You don't have to like it. It's okay. I understand your reasonings behind the reasons why you don't like it, and you know what? Honestly, I see your points clearly. For me, the whole reign of his starting getting sour once they unified the titles. The unifications of the titles at first I thought was going to be a good idea, but it just turned out not to be because Roman Reigns was simply not here.
I didn't think it was a good idea anyways. I thought Bobby Lashley should have held that title till WrestleMania.
Yeah.
See,
And
touch. Go ahead,
trust
Phil.
me, and trust me, I thought we were going to see Omos versus Bobby Lashley, and that would have just been, disgusting. But it would have been a thing. It started getting sour at WrestleMania time. I thought it could have been a good thing unifying the titles. It obviously wasn't. I want these championships split now. and that's all that
The
matters.
problem is though with that is Vince booked into such a corner. You have to figure out a way. You have to figure out a way
Well-
to get it off without completely making him look dumb.
But why you?
Yeah,
well,
I was
you
okay
get
with
that.
Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble. That didn't bother me because it actually told a pretty decent story. Roman won the Rumble, faced Brock at WrestleMania. Now Brock's winning the Royal Rumble. Faced Roman. I didn't hate that booking decision because there wasn't a clear-cut favorite to win the Royal Rumble this year. So I was okay with that. But then they just threw the WWE Championship on him. Like, why? He's already got a main event match at WrestleMania. He doesn't need it. Brock Lesnar doesn't need that. 2 titles. Like, you didn't need to unify the titles. Bobby could have had a rematch against Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre could have won the title back because he didn't get to the year before. Like, I mean, there were so many different ways they could have gone with it.
Here's the thing for me. If day 1 went without a scratch, because we all know day 1 it had its issues. If day 1 went without a scratch, I don't know if we'd be.
In the situation we are.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the best way to put it. Because I think during the entire booking with the Fatal 5-Way, Seth was supposed to win that match.
Yep.
But it just didn't. I don't know what happened that materialized into the plans being changed, but it just didn't happen that way.
Roman-
And then,
Four-way and Roman dipped out because he had COVID.
Right.
right. Why'd you put quotes? He did.
He was only gone for 5 days. He might not have had COVID. He only missed 5 days of work.
Listen, man.
No, he didn't. He was only. He
on
was
the
on.
next week's episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, but he wasn't on the SmackDown before.
I thought he was. I thought he didn't. I
No,
thought
he
he only
wasn't.
missed the pay-per-view.
No, he wasn't on that
I think he was.
SmackDown.
Fair enough.
So, I didn't mean to call
Look
you
at
out
Laugh.
that way. It's just
Laugh
what we
defended it.
call
Laugh said no, he wasn't. There was another nice thing about Roman.
There you go. See?
I can't lie. You know what I'm saying? I can't lie. You
Look at
know?
him.
I can't lie. I can hate him, but I just can't lie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think WWE would be low enough to use leukemia as a cop out. I do think they'd use COVID as a cop out. Vince would absolutely do that. So
Okay.
that's why I have my suspicions.
The fans were using leukemia as a cop out, saying he never had it.
Oh, easily,
Dude.
yes.
We're not going to talk about that.
No, I-
That was.
That is not a subject I would go on a hill.
No,
for,
I'm-
for.
I'm
No.
not at
That
all.
was-
I'm just
that was
saying
disgusting comment that happened.
Fans can suck.
we
But
don't.
yeah,
Yep.
if day 1 went without a hitch, we wouldn't be in the situation I feel like we are in now.
I think Harlem, if Roman defends at Extreme Rules, it's one of the 2 belts. Because as Shadow has pointed out numerous times, and I really started realizing it this weekend, it does not say unified. It says undisputed WWE Universal Championship, so they still have both names in the title.
2 titles are
I
being
think-
held under separate entities. So
Yes.
if you wanted to cash in, you could cash in for 1 belt. It's
I
been
could
it's
see
a,
a
it's
triple
been a
threat
thing.
with Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre, actually. I could see that happening.
Karrion and Drew should happen at the pay-per-view, and I feel
Yeah,
like
it
it
is.
is.
It will.
I think that's going to be the main event. I don't think we're seeing Roman on Extreme Rules.
Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it.
Roman
know.
Reigns being at Extreme Rules doesn't make much sense for me.
I hope
Not
he is
with
with him in person.
hope he is.
I
Boom.
think Theory needs to cash in, take one belt off of him, and
No,
then,
I think
one belt.
Gargano
and then
Theory
lose it.
need to. No,
and then lose
I
it
think
to
Gar-
Gargano. Yeah,
I think
it to
Gargano and
Gargano.
Theory need to have a feud over that Money in the Bank.
well, I think that's actually what's going to happen. That's been a rumor.
I don't think they need to take it off of Theory though.
Yes, they do.
No, I don't think so
That's
either.
what was
but
supposed
the
to happen
feud would be
with
good.
Dolph, I thought. Dolph was supposed to have a feud with Theory for the briefcase, but that just never happened.
And
I
so
think that got squashed once Gargano resigned.
there you go.
Wait,
Yeah.
squash that. Triple H squash that quick.
Well, that was a Vince thing, I think. Also,
Yeah, that's right.
Gargano should have a mid card belt within the next year though, for sure.
Well, I guess depending what happens at Worlds Collide tomorrow, and if Ricochet walks out the NA champion, we could see it on the main roster.
That's not a terrible idea actually.
no, that's definitely not.
I think Ricochet's just there to give him the rub, honestly.
I think so too, but in alternate universe, let's say Ricochet wins. I think it comes to the main roster.
Man's gonna
I'd love
bang.
that. I would. I'm just saying.
I mean, the women's tag titles used to float between the main roster and NXT, so why not the North American?
Well, the main roster women's belts did, not the NXT
Yeah.
one.
No, the women's tag titles.
They should
I
just
said.
unify it all together, and just
Yeah.
have the one. But because Vince didn't know what to do, Triple H is like, I'm gonna make my own because we have the people down here to do it.
Right.
We actually have tag teams in NXT. Y'all don't.
Right. I do like that they brought in some of the main roster for the pay-per-view, though.
So let me go in with this as we should wrap up. What is your guys' thought now, currently, with the way Clash went and going forward?
Just think we're in for a bright future. I am. I think we're just in for a bright future with the way that Triple H is booking things. The way that Triple H booked things tonight for me and Olaf, we say it on the podcast all the time. Quality over quantity. We only had 6 matches on this card, excluding the pre-show.
It was
Right.
probably the best 6-match card ever.
So
I like
Well, you don't need to do a 14 match
Every-
card. Like,
every match had its time.
15.
It's a good quality pay-per-view,
Shot, good shot.
and I understood that shot. I'm
Shot,
just-
good shot. Very good shot. That's a
No,
great
no, over
shot.
that.
AEW guy, we gotta
Listen.
do-
Shot
we
that.
gotta do-
Listen,
shot
I
that
may
is
be
the
Phil
game
Khan
over.
over
Who
here,
shot
but
that?
I'm
So-
gonna be the bigger man. I'm gonna be the bigger man here.
Well, because it was 14, and then they added one.
It's
Good
14 now,
No.
actually.
That'll
though,
boost the
It's
ratings.
15. It's 15. Go check.
but what did they add?
They added the Sami and Tay match. That wasn't on it. Sami and Tay versus Ortiz. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Tony, stop
That'll
it,
pop
Tony.
the ratings.
Look at Phil Khan over there. He's
So-
upset with the product too.
Tony,
Mm,
listen,
mm,
I've actually not been undecided Tony Khan for quite some time, so
Alright.
it is a thing.
In
Let's focus on WWE.
in regards to the
Final
6.
thing, no,
Go ahead.
it's just that we're in a bright future.
All right.
Quality over quantity, we're good there.
I will agree that today's show, even though it went 3.5 hours with the 6 matches, was great.
Yes.
But you're having these live events. Are you gonna switch them, split them, and have an alternate pay-per-views? SmackDown on one, Raw on the other, and the 4 big pay-per-views is where everybody goes? Or are we not gonna have title belts being defended on shows? If you only want 6 matches, otherwise every match will be a title match.
But I don't think you need to
Well, I mean-
defend the belts often. So having them just defend it on the
You're supposed to
pay-per-views-
defend the belt at least once every 30 days. And unless they're going to start counting house shows in kayfabe, they're not being defended once every 30 days.
Well, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not have them on the pay-per-view, as long as they feature them on the pay-per-views at least probably every Big 4 pay-per-view, and sprinkle in all the other little B pay-per-views here and there too. I don't think every title needs to be defended on every pay-per-view, but Triple H has already shown that he'll defend the IC title on SmackDown, he'll defend the US title on Raw, and he'll give it a proper spotlight. So I think that kind of makes up for not being at every single pay-per-view.
Okay.
And I think today kind of just proves it was a little bit of a different feel. right? I
Yeah.
mean, we're in the UK. It doesn't like we're not gonna get only 6 matches a card when we're back in the States. I highly doubt that. We're gonna get more stories on Raw. We're gonna get more stories on SmackDown, and the championships will be prominently utilized. So I just think it was a different type of feel tonight.
I just thought they would have went bigger with this one,
I
as
also
it was like a WrestleMania type
I
atmosphere.
was
also-
expecting more matches, but I don't know.
to touch on that, I think it also has to do with a lot of the vaccination quotas that you need to meet to get to another country.
UK has
Does the
none.
United States-
UK has none.
That's not true.
That is true.
You
Had
had
a
to be-
had a cross get in there.
Okay, but I just had a friend fly besides Steve fly over to the UK and they had to prove their vaccination to fly out over there.
You have to prove for the US, I think.
But
Okay.
they flew from Canada to the UK.
Well, Canada's different actually. You
So I
don't
don't
you
know.
don't allow sports athletes to go into your country if
But-
they're unless they're vaccinated.
I mean, we're trying to keep our. That's a different subject.
Yeah, we'll talk about COVID another time.
But anyway, it might have just been nobody wanted to make that travel. It could have been with sickness going around. The monkeypox was a huge thing in the UK, so I don't know. It could have just been a superstar's personality why the card was so short.
I mean, Triple H doesn't have to put on an ultimatum saying, "Hey, you guys have to be here."
No, He's gonna put on a
He's got
banger
way
show.
more respect for the people like that. He's got way more respect than that. So if it has to be into that, it's not. I don't think it's really anything to be too worried about.
if NXT takeovers have proven anything, it's that Triple H can go in, have 4 matches, and it's still going to be banging.
Tomorrow's card is only 5 matches.
So what's going on with that best of 3 match that they talked
I'll be right-
about with
be right
Axiom and what's the other guy? Angel, I think his name was. Like, there's supposed to be a best of 3 match. Is that going to be on next week's NXT?
Probably. I didn't see that on the Worlds Collide card.
I'm not even sure what match you're talking about.
They had the segment where they both were reading comic books. One was reading the Seth Rollins comic. The other one was reading New Day. They ended up making a best of 3 match, and then they swapped comics.
There's no way that's at Worlds Collide.
Okay.
Yeah, right now there's
Just the
no
5
best of 3
matches.
match on the
Yeah.
Collide.
So, coming out of this pay-per-view, there's a couple things that I'm really excited for. I'm excited for the women's division. WWE already had a good women's division. They just weren't booked to their fullest potential. I think Triple H, as shown in NXT, he knows how to do that. He knows how to book the women to their fullest potential. He'll book them right on the level of the men because they are on that level. People like Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and all 6 women we saw in that match tonight. People like Sasha Banks, if she comes back, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, they're just as good, if not better, than most of the men. So, I'm really excited for the women's division. I feel like it's gonna pick up. We're gonna get some multiple stories instead of just, instead of just solo feuds or just title feuds. I feel like we'll get some feuds that are outside the title picture, and the women's division really needs that. And I'm also really excited for the unpredictability because everyone seemed to be certain that Drew was going to win tonight. And he did not win.
Chewie!
What's up, buddy? Shadow, Canadian Jesus.
We are in a position now where storytelling is the main focus again, not the entertainment side of things.
You gotta love it.
Well,
The
story.
actual. But I was getting to the rest of that point. But you're going to get more of a physical wrestling match. And I say wrestling match because Triple H is running things and overseeing things, and Shawn is running things and overseeing things. And the creative team feels less pressured. They don't feel like they have to be perfect because Triple H is not there to ruin them. He's there to, what's the word?
Build.
Enhance.
Build them up, but like when you critique somebody, but in a nice way.
Constructive criticism.
Thank you. Like
You're not. The announcers don't have somebody yelling in your ear every
the state
15
of
seconds.
the state of WWE is in a better place for the first time in 15 years.
And it's also like, again, the storytelling aspect is going to take away from this like moments thing that Vince had a thing for. Just he wanted big moments and he didn't care how he got them. That's detrimental to the product. They need to be storytelling, and we're going to get that now.
Yeah.
And I love how the commentary has been getting better and better week in and week out ever since. Well, here's the thing. It all really started with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. Let's
Yes.
just be real there. It all started with them. How they are just genuinely, they're two friends legitimately in a commentary booth, and they're just having fun.
Michael Cole doesn't get booed anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Michael Cole had an absolute burn tonight by saying that the Mysterios collapsed worse than the New York Yankees.
No.
Dude, I was like, what the hell was that for?
And
Who wanted to say that?
it's so funny because everybody's like, "Oh, the Yankees are in such a collapse." They've lost 5 games on their division lead in 2.5 months. Like,
Yeah.
that's not.
But it was
bad.
that's just not something you got in a Vince era.
No, that is very
No,
true.
it-
I mean, they
Yeah.
mentioned New Japan.
They did.
Michael Cole
mentioned,
mentioned El Generico on Friday, or
Yeah.
whatever Friday that was.
Someone said Stardom.
Tag team and Stardom.
Yes, I knew someone said Stardom. Stardom.
Like, listen, as long as the commentary's been more genuine, the commentary's just been more fun. It's
Wrestling,
it's a
wrestling
great
as a
feeling.
whole right now. And yes, even though AEW is going on the downhill right now, they're going to come back up, and I believe they will. Wrestling as a whole is so good right now.
We are winning in the year 2022.
Yes.
Someone will get in Tony Khan's ear and make him listen. I believe that'll happen.
I don't think so.
If anybody will,
Yeah.
I will, because the fucker
Do
needs to figure
something
something
quick,
out.
please.
I need to I need to figure something out.
Love
I'm
God,
dealing
do
with
something.
these contracts all over the place, and everybody wants to leave me. So,
Something quick
damn it,
before it gets bad.
Well, Shadow said it best the other night.
Thunder Rose.
WWE is still the mecca for pro wrestling, and it always will be.
Thank you. As I
It's
told
not
Phil last
going
night,
anywhere.
Yeah.
No one's
Can't-
going to overtake them.
you have to stop
Right.
trying to fight this big bully. You're never going to
Do you-
beat them. Just focus on what you're doing. You will never beat them, and that's okay. Just do what you're doing. You try to go at them, you're gonna mess up.
The only way they will get overtaken is if they sell. And McMahon is not running it anymore.
Well, Vince is the primary shareholder.
AEW is like being in a domestic relationship at the moment. It's taking its beating right now, but it's going to come out stronger as a survivor.
Oh my lord.
At the end, we're gonna see a beautiful Rihanna.
Nah.
And I
I'm
don't
not-
mean that like that.
Nah.
That came out wrong, but the analogy is there.
Moving on.
Because-
moving
When AEW came in, they were the true alternative.
Yes. that's
And
what it
They
was
lost
supposed to be.
focus.
And now they're not.
And now they're booking
They
like
lost focus.
WCW in the late 90s. The only thing they're missing is giving a world title run to a movie star.
Well, what do you mean? Captain Insano's coming.
I'm gonna jump through the screen at you.
I mean, he's already there, technically.
But anyways, it's been a great pod, and thank you, Laugh and Phil and Nate. Conversation was flowing, and of course Megan, even though she's not here at the moment now.
We love Mother Megan.
Again.
Boys, where can we find you guys?
All right. Listen. Thank you so much for having us. First of all, this was a lot of fun getting to talk with all of you guys, and Nate, it's always a great conversation with you. We might not always agree on the whole AEW side of things, but we'll talk. We'll talk. But thank you guys so much for having us. This is a real blast. You guys can follow myself and Lof on all the other social media platforms, the whole TikTok side of things. But you can find OTB on YouTube, youtube.com/outside the brand. We go live practically every single day for Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, Dynamite reviews, everything like that. Outside the Brand is also on TikTok too, so if you want to follow Outside the Brand for just some little clips about the podcast, you guys can find that. It's just the name of the podcast. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We do this thing just like how you guys do it here. We just talk wrestling and have fun. Laugh ever since, joining this podcast like over a year ago. It's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, um, I love joining other podcasts to see what their perspective on professional wrestling is, and I thank y'all for the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It's just a great time just to talk with other people that enjoy wrestling and have different outlooks on it. You know, even if we don't agree on certain stuff, we all come to the same understanding that we love watching this one professional sport, and I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? But I usually don't shout myself out. I don't like shout myself out. If you find me, you find me. If you don't, you don't. You see my name right there.
I tagged you on the comment for TikTok.
The man is
Yeah.
very humble.
I
The
appreciate
man
you.
is very
I
humble.
appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
It's Laugh Not Famous pretty much everywhere. He doesn't like doing it, but if he's not doing it, I'll do it for him. The man should get a lot of recognition, and he's one of the best out there.
I got both of these guys' TikTok names in the comments. I got Megan's in the comments. I got my name, the Wrestle Bros. Wrestle Bros on TikTok. Nate McNamara WB on TikTok. That's where you can find us.
Hopefully, this isn't the end. We can do some more collaborations in the future because I actually enjoyed the conversation, and the panel it works. It flows. It's nice.
Yes, it definitely is. It's great to hear other people's perspectives on things, and it just flows. Like we work well together, both outside the brand and off the top. It just seemed to work today.
Indeed.
Love it.
So, again, want to thank everybody for coming out. It was a pleasure, and we hope to see you guys again soon.
Be safe.